Hello, beautiful, beautiful souls. How are you? Today I'm talking about addiction, and about the solution to addiction, if there is one. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So you might be asking, how can Gordon talk about addiction? What does he know about addiction? Well, I'm pretty much an expert on addiction. Why? Because I have been addicted. What I haven't been addicted to isn't worth knowing about. I have one of those personalities. One of those personalities that is really good at creating extreme addiction within my body and my mind. And of course, all addiction is created in the mind. The body is just a little vessel that gives the feedback, but the mind is what does it. So I've been addicted to just endless amounts of things. Alcohol was a biggie, cigarettes, a biggie, amphetamine at one point, quite big. Sleeping around, that was also quite a big one. Sugar, also. Just fill in the gap. I have been addicted to loads of things. Why? Because I have a certain style of brain management. The positive side to those people who get addicted to things very easily, and you know, some people call it an addictive personality, but it's a certain way that we process things. And the process of addiction can also be used for good, because the people who have that kind of ability to addict themselves can also get addicted to good things, and they can also do a lot of good to themselves and to other people and to the world with that same mentality. So I'm not decrying, I'm not poo-pooing that mentality. The problem is when you are in the wrong kind of addiction, nightmare, bloody nightmare. The downside to addiction is that the body must normalize whatever it is that you're doing to an extreme. If you are smoking, you'll recall the very first few times that you smoke, you are dizzy as hell. Dizzy, sometimes wanting to be sick. Whoa, it's extreme. And then 2 weeks afterwards, there's no dizziness. It's just to feel normal. If you take an opiate, like heroin, for example, the first time apparently is the best time, and it's beautiful, it's wonderful, and it's that makes the impact. Remember, it's nearly always the very first few times that create this addiction. And then after that, by the end, most people who are taking that are just taking it just to be normal. They just need to be normal. I can remember when I was addicted, and I use the word, addicted to amphetamine. Right? It was when I was in my 20s, and if I ever went out for a drink, I had to have some. So not only could I drink endlessly with that, you can just drink endlessly. Not only that, but it makes you exceedingly boring because you're just giving it this all the time. Very boring. However, I couldn't go out without it. It was like if I wanted to be normal, I had to have it. And not having it made me abnormal. I was not normal when I was not having it. Like there was something missing. Like it wasn't right. Life wasn't right. And so that's what addiction is all about. That you take it, it's extreme, typically extreme. And your body, because your body can't handle extremes all the time, what it does, it turns down the effect. So it becomes nothing. So it becomes normal. It's called normalizing. But what happens is this. So imagine if we were going to use, some kind of cocaine. So you take cocaine, and it takes you up here, right? Mega. And your body says, we're not going there. We can't go there. After you've done it a few times, it sees that you're going to keep doing it, and it says, we can't go there. We can't. I can't allow you to go up there. And so what the body does, it turns everything down, metabolism-wise, so that it brings it down. So when you haven't taken it, you're in deficit. You're like below the line. You're going, oh my God, this feels awful. You know, it's people who drink coffee. I've been addicted to coffee as well. People who drink coffee and they say, oh, I've got to have a coffee so I feel normal. I can't be normal unless I've had a coffee. They're not lying. That's the truth. Because your body's taken, because coffee raises the speed of your metabolism, your body takes you down below the line so that coffee takes you back up to the line. Does that make sense? So it's always just about, your body's always trying to normalize, to stabilize, to find homeostasis. And of course, all the substances that we take are like shooting us all over the place. The only thing that your body can do to protect itself is turn everything down. Normalize it. So what happens is very, very quickly, what you're taking doesn't affect you anymore. It just makes you feel normal, like a human being. How many times have I heard that? I feel like a human being now. Right? That's a sign of addiction. That's when you know that you're addicted to something. However, when you get to the point where it's doing nothing for you except making you feel normal, don't think that that's the point where you say, this is doing nothing for me, I'll give it up. No, that's not what stops you from being addicted. Why? For two reasons. One is that to feel normal, you've got to have it. So if you stop taking it, you feel abnormal. This is where withdrawals come from. Your body goes into withdrawal because it's got everything turned down. Yeah, and you just feel like shit. The other reason is that what you have become addicted to is the idea of what that substance does. And what normally is that idea? It's the first few times. It stays like recorded on your brain. And so when you focus yourself into your next hit, whatever that is, next coffee, next fag, next line, it doesn't matter. You always are thinking about those first few times, that wow. And of course, the reality is far from it. It's the biggest disappointment. And so you get into this horrible loop of being excited about having it and being disappointed. And then having another one, hoping that this time you're going to get that excitement and you don't, you get the disappointment. So you just get on this horrible, horrible treadmill, this addiction treadmill. And what's the downside of it? Well, the downside is that you feel worse and worse about yourself. You lose all self-respect. You feel bad and you feel helpless and hopeless. Long live addiction, eh? And we've got them all over. You know, we're addicted to so many things. We're probably addicted to lots of things that we don't know we're addicted to. However, these are the main things. So what's the solution to it? How do you overcome addiction? Well, there are a few steps to it. The first step is recognizing that you're an addict. In Alcoholics Anonymous, the first step is the most important, which is admitting that you're an addict. You know, my name is Gordon and I'm an alcoholic. That's what you've got to say. That's the first step. Great step. But what do you do after that? Well, to get away from addiction, what you've got to do is find something that's even more important than the thing that you're taking, the addiction. You've got to find something that's even more attractive than the image or the mixture of images and emotions that you have when you represent that thing. You know, when I used to smoke, when I would imagine myself into the next cigarette, it was always, I would see myself having a fag and I would feel that burning sensation, that hit in the lungs. That was what it was always, my addictions are always, I see something and then I feel something. That's the drug of my brain. That's what makes me go for things. See something, feel something, like a physical feeling. And so what you've got to do is you've got to find something that's even better than that. That stuff, and not just another substance. Well, I'm leaving cocaine. I'm going to go to heroin now because it's better. No, you've got to find something that's more attractive. So every time I was looking back on all of the times that I stopped my addictions. And there's a pattern that I see. The pattern that I see is that the only reason I was able to stop was because I was going to get something that was more important to me. It was my highest value. That every time that I was addicted to something, that was taken from me. Can you guess what it was? Freedom. Every single time that I stopped doing something, it was because I was sick and tired of being a slave. I was sick and tired of adjusting my life according to the addiction. And I wanted to be free. I remember when I stopped smoking, and it was because I spent so many hours mithering in my head about having to get a flight, a long haul flight, and I was going to need a cigarette, and what was I going to do? And I was thinking, you're not even free. You're not even free. When I used to drink a lot of alcohol, I would manipulate my life so that I didn't go out on a night time, or if I did, that I wasn't driving so I could have a drink. And it was everything. I was adjusting my life to fit around my boss, which was alcohol. It was taking away my freedom. And freedom is what I value the most. Freedom. Freedom to do and to be and to feel what I want to do and be and feel. Every single time that I've given something up, it's been so that I can have freedom. Does that mean everybody, all you have to do is go for freedom and everybody will be free from addiction? No. It depends on what your top value is. It depends on what for you is more important than what you're getting from the thing, which is nothing, but it doesn't matter. Whether you're getting nothing, whether you know you're getting nothing, it doesn't matter. It's what you've got in your head. And so I'm planning on doing a course, maybe in the autumn, on addiction and helping people who work with those who are addicted, the people who are therapists, to offer some of the tools that I've learned over the years and to help people to find out what it's got to be better. The person has got to go somewhere better than where they are. And that's not always easy to find. Even if their life's shit, what they take is giving them something very important, and what they've got to have is something even more important. Even more important. So have you been addicted to anything in your life? I'd be surprised if you haven't. But I do know people who don't have that way of processing in their head. And so they'll say, quite often, my wife said to me, but Gordon, you don't need to have a drink every night. You could just have a drink once a month, and that would be all. And that's because she has that process. She has that pattern that she runs. She has a drink and then she's one, and she doesn't even finish that. And that's it. But that's because that's the way her mind works. Mine works in a very different way. And so my guess is for people who do get addicted very easily, we have a very similar kind of strategy that we run, which is great if you're doing good stuff, and it's terrible if you're doing bad stuff. So I'll share with you more thoughts in the future about this course if you're interested. Maybe, addictions, they're everywhere. They are in every aspect of our lives, even phones now, we are moving into high addiction. When I walk around now and I see people walking with the phone here, just walking along the street with the phone here, and I think, holy shit, where are we? Where are we now? Addiction. We're in addiction world, but we've never really been out of addiction world. It's all there, so it's just a matter of having the tools to get over it. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts. Tell me about your addictions. Tell me what you got over. Mine might be light and nothing compared to yours. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.